Hello and welcome. This is the Alchemist Inkwell.
This is your spiritual podcast for grounded people, and it is Cancer season by the
It
time you
is,
hear this, probably.
right?
We're just about to
Happy
be.
summer. Yeah, happy
Yeah,
summer,
happy summer.
friends. Woo! Oh my gosh. It's exciting, honestly. I'm really
Yeah,
stoked. Like,
yeah.
yay,
The
summer.
the wonderful vibes of summer, at least in the northern hemisphere. Hello to everybody in the southern hemisphere, and I'm sorry that you're entering winter. And if you love winter, awesome, good, that's amazing. Congratulations. Me and my winter vibe are like, "Ooh, how?" But I do know people that really thrive in winter, so I'm happy for you if that is where you're headed and you are looking forward to it.
Yeah. I am a summer person. I love winter. Don't get me wrong. I love winter. I live in a place with seasons, so I really love winter. I like
Yeah.
snow a lot. Snow makes me very happy. But I am a summer person through and through, and I just want to go swimming all the time, and I can't swim in the winter, and that makes me sad. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cold
Huh?
makes my whole body just seize up like rubber. So
It
I'm just like,
does.
well, I have the heated coat and all the things that accommodate my experience of winter. So I really do enjoy the fact that we find so much to celebrate at that time of year. It's one of my favorite things.
Winter
But
is your kryptonite.
winter
You're just like
is my
cold is
kryptonite.
not.
Like, I can't do it. No, but I like the mentality that we put ourselves in winter to avoid the sads. I get the sads, which is why I cling to the holidays. Um,
Hmm.
but the weather itself, I'm really glad I live further south now so that I've actually enjoyed the winter a lot more in recent years because of this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
have
it's not
enjoyed it just
rainy,
because we
it's
got buried
nice.
in snow, which is the different version of mine. I'm like,
Yeah.
yay, we got a whole bunch. I will say right now the lake is so full of water. I have not seen this full of water in years, and it is really cool. And I know it's because last year we had a huge winter, and then this year, and like the snow, so much snow that it wasn't all able to melt off. And then this
Mhm.
winter we had a pretty big winter, and then this spring has been warm, so like all of the snow has melted off. So we have so much water right now, which again makes me thrilled. I like water. Water is happy.
Water is happy. I like water too.
Water is happy. On that note, it's the summer solstice, probably like right around the time that you're listening to this. And if
Mhm.
you listen to this after the solstice and you're like, oh no, I didn't do what they said on the don't worry
The
about it.
sun
It's
stands still
fine.
for like 3 days. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You have a couple days to do it. You're all good. Don't stress about it. But it's the summer solstice, or winter solstice, but we're going to talk about it in like a summerish sort of vibe, but it can also be applied to winter if you are in the southern hemisphere, like by all means go for it.
Mhm.
You can just kind of tweak it for like your needs. It doesn't like the energy of the event is the energy of the event, regardless of what season you're entering into.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind.
It is Cancer season, cardinal and
Hmm.
water. So we are in our feelings and feeling, finding our family and finding where we
Yeah.
want to fit and where we feel like we belong and that kind of stuff, which is ironic because we're entering that solar season just as the moon opposes the sun from her sign of detriment because the moon does rule Cancer. So that's why the moon is associated with a lot of those themes too. And then we have the full moon of the moon being away from literally everybody. So Mercury, Venus, and the sun are all hanging out at the moon's house, and the moon is like on a business trip and can't get home, and the flight was canceled. And so the moon's going to miss the party at their own house. So I've already seen people talking about big emotions. The moon,
Yeah.
as we speak, is gibbous, so full of light and culminating towards that full moon. Give it a couple
Hmm.
days if you're feeling sad, if you feel like you're missing your group that you're used to, or if you feel like you don't have one and you can't place it right now, give it a couple days and if you
Hmm.
don't have one that you can think of, ask yourself maybe why you haven't put yourself in the places where the people you deserve are, and then
Hmm.
plan a trip or an experience where you do go where the people that you deserve are also there. I just came back
Yeah.
from an astrology thing again, and I've never felt, well, there's one other time that I have felt so surrounded by people who see me and get me and allow me to be myself fully, and it's sacred spaces. So
Hmm.
it's a lot like that. So if you find those places where people like you are and where people appreciate you, that's going to help you find people that you can connect with all throughout the year too.
Yeah, I was sitting there and channeling into like what is coming our way during the summer season. And
Mhm.
there's some like world stuff that's not the best, but I was trying to look at it more on like a personal level. And I do want to say like Krista and I hesitate to talk about things with events on the world stage. And we've talked about this on before, but I want to reiterate it because I know people are kind of starting to get panicky about stuff. I've had a lot of people in my comments and in readings and different things like that, be like, but what's going to happen with this? We don't really talk about that on the world stage because there's no good that would come from us talking about it.
Yeah. And because you're
Like,
listening to a podcast right now, and we can't guarantee that you've consented to hear it.
yeah,
And we want to maintain your right to your opinions, your thoughts, your preferences, and all those things on a podcast. We do share a little bit more in more personal places. Like tomorrow,
hmm,
I'll be talking to my student studies in Patreon
yeah.
about the year so far and things that we might anticipate. But they're going to participate in that. So,
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I've actually debated in the if you guys want this, like let me know, comment on the YouTube or even send an email to Forgotten Storytellers. I've debated doing a like paywalled call about what's headed our way for the next
mhm.
year, the things I see that's headed our way for the next year. Um, to help ease anxiety. It's probably going to go more into 5 years, but I have Krista knows what I've seen very extensively, and I've been studying
Yeah,
this for like 3 years and keep getting
yep,
shown the same things, and now it's like happening exactly the way I've been shown it's
yeah.
going to happen. So that's what I'm going off of. But it would have to be like a paywalled situation because again, speaking on it
Makes sense.
publicly doesn't bring benefit to anybody. I really, really don't think it does. It's just going to be misunderstood. There's never enough space for it. I'm doing a whole episode. It's
Mhm.
a consent thing. Like there's a bunch of different things. So if you're like, but what's happening this summer season on a world stage? Not going to tell you super fully. What I will say is this solstice is bringing about a lot of, I'm going to call it anyway energy for
Mm.
the summer, where you're
As in
like,
like
yeah,
the,
I'm
oh
scared of it, but I'm
no,
doing it anyway.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, like I maybe shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway and see how it works. It's a lot more of like opening yourself up instead of being like, well, I can't. It's like, well, I might be able to. I don't know unless I try. Like it's a lot of that energy coming in
Mhm.
for this summer season and a lot of I'm going to say like with that kind of anyway energy, it's like a decrease in seriousness. It's really like embracing spirituality and the physical world and all these different things in a way that is not as life or death, not as I need to do this perfectly, not as like I need to have a full plan, and more along the lines of like, well, everything is kind of wibbly wobbly and I'm going to do it anyway and we're going to see how it goes and I'm going to embrace this and I feel drawn towards this type of magic and I'm going to get a new deck of tarot cards today because I decided I would. And it's a lot of like pretty cool lesson in intuition and trusting stuff because you're doing it anyway.
Yep.
Um, there will be a lot of crappy haircuts given this summer, I have a feeling, because people will do it anyway.
You like
And
the
that
one
is
that costs.
okay. But that is like when I was looking at the energy and like kind of doing a card pull on it and really tapping into it, that was what I was getting the most of is like, hey, this is where we're entering is like we're getting really clear on what we want to do and what we don't want to do. We're getting really clear on having dreams again. That we're kind of like, I know the world is making it so it feels like I shouldn't have dreams, but I kind of am having dreams again. I want to try things again. And I love that. I'm glad we're in that space. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing at least bringing in with this summer solstice energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at the ingress of the Cancer season as a chart, and I'm bringing in what I know of the Aries ingress, which represents in this year, the Aries ingress chart is all we need to look at the condition of the full year. There's a bunch of criteria that goes into that. Again, I'm going to be reviewing that with my students tomorrow. But in the Aries ingress, the ruler of the year is Mars. So this
Hmm.
feeling of contention, this feeling of, I remember when I got my interpretation of the year peer reviewed by my mentor, I was like, everybody feels attacked this year. Like everybody feels attacked. And, there's a lot of focus on naturally leadership roles and distributions of power
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff. When I apply what I know about that to this, which again, none of that is a surprise, it's all the
Hmm.
stuff we're focused on. I'm not going to get specific about one way or another kind of stuff. That's for people who have consented to hear it. But when I look at like, where are we as just people in
Hmm.
this summer season? It's fun that you got the things that you got. And as usual, I'm going to support you with astrology and my own flair of intuition with the chart. So the sun's coming into Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. The moon, as the
Hmm.
sun comes into Cancer, is still gibbous moon, gaining in light, increasing in light, and very near full in Sagittarius.
Hmm.
Sagittarius is the experience it, explore your spirituality, try new things. It's this mutable fire, creative, the anyway. I'm going to do this anyway.
Hmm.
I'm going to try it. I have my own freedom that I can focus on and the areas in
Hmm.
which I have the agency to move around. And then you think about Sagittarius being important in this case, Jupiter has now entered into Gemini. So to me, Jupiter in Gemini is sampling ideas, sampling experiences, sampling different locations. So I recommend if you're going to do something this summer, go on a journey, whether that's one that
Mm-hmm.
you can physically go on and you can try a new place that you've never been before, whether it's somewhere you've been before, but you go there for a very intentional reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just something that gets you out of your space, gets you out of your head, and reminds you that the world and time and the cosmos is so much bigger than this moment. Even though
Yeah.
the moment is scary, that there's more to it, and we don't want to let the moment trap us.
Yeah. No, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. I already shot this video, I haven't posted it yet, but what I recommend everyone do for to honor the solstice, it is the solstice to do like manifestation work in like certain ways of being like, what do I want to bring in this summer? But also do a guided meditation where it's very like fantasy focused, visual focused.
Mhm.
Dive into a fantasy book, rewatch Lord of the Rings for the 57th time, like really embrace like magical different worlds type of energy to really kick off that journey energy, which is again like I've already shot the video, that's exactly what I said, so validating your intuition right back. It's also a really really awesome time on the solstice or the days around it. Astral projection, if you know how to astral project, it's a great time to do that, like genuinely. You're going to get a lot of information. It's a really really good time to like have some real conversations with your guides about what's going on, what do you need to focus on, those types of things. Honestly, I would say, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this too, like if you have prompts that would be really good for channeled writing, because it's a really good time to channeled write with your guides, like a really good time. I would say my prompts that I'm most likely going to do with my guides: what do I need to be focusing on right now is a huge one. What areas should I be creative in is a huge one. And then probably just is there anything I'm missing or like ignoring that I should be looking at? Those would be the big ones that I would be doing some channeled writing. I'm probably going to do some channel writing about in the next couple days. Do you have any thoughts on like spirit guide channeled writing prompts?
Yeah, so I'm actually trying to look at something that makes what you're saying make even more sense because over the summer, the last couple of years we haven't been able to dream, like you said. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't been able to make plans, establish goals, and come up with our aspirations. And that's been really, if you're me, really annoying. Like I like to make plans. I want to know where I'm going and what I want to do. Um,
Plans make me happy.
Right? I'm structure, okay? I need it. And I found my way to this. Cool, cool. So what we have is on August 19th this year, we have the first true interaction between Saturn and Jupiter since their conjunction in 2020, which started a whole new social epoch for the world, right? That in astrology it was a very big deal in more than one way. And now they meet up for the first time by square to say, okay, that happened. Past tense. What are we doing now? And so my affirmation or my prompt would be, what do I want? And not just want, but like, where's my desire pushing me? Where is my spirit being drawn? How am I responding to the call of life? And
Hmm.
where does that pull me next? And like, how can I say, okay, it's time to pull out the map or to forge a path or to do something and decide that I exist in this world and the world has now given me a new amount of resources and a new scene to take place in. And what do I decide my actions are?
Yeah. I would
I,
say it is time for like childlike dreams again.
Mhm.
Like when you were a kid, what was your dreams? If you can do something during this solstice time that relates to that dream. For example, if you're like, oh, I wanted to be an astronaut, maybe you go outside and look at the stars, or maybe you go to a planetarium, or maybe you watch a documentary on space. But if you do something that's like reminds you of that dream and that there's some part of you that is still fulfilling that dream space, it'll give you the energy to dream big again. Also, I giggled because I have feelings about what's most likely going to happen during that Saturn Jupiter situation, which is just it's astrology good. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, I think that's a really wonderful thing to do during the solstice time as well, is to just to let yourself be a little kid with dreams again and see which ones of those doesn't leave your mind. Like when you're like, oh, I would love to do this or I'd love to do that or whatever. And then over the next couple of days, if you just keep thinking about one of those things that you were just like, man, I really want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Then make it a dream. Don't worry
Yeah.
about the how. Just worry about the what. Like, what are you want? Like, where you
Mhm.
want to go. Don't worry about the how. The how is
Yeah.
where we all get caught in inaction. Don't do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Just do what? What do you want to do? What feels good?
Because a lot of the times the how is not the best way, and that's where it
No.
gets all clogged in the spiritual pipes. Because
Hmm.
I see this a lot when people are trying to, like, they'll try to manifest money, and it's like, okay, but what does the money get you? Because maybe the thing you actually want the money to get you would come smoother through a different means than paper
Hmm.
money or than, a credit card. Maybe you could have it easier or better or worth, something more fulfilling. And we get
Yeah.
stuck on the how am I going to get there, which I think we're conditioned as a kid of like, but how's that
Oh,
going to
for
pay you?
sure.
But how are you going to make that happen? And how blah, blah, blah. Forget that. Decondition all
Yeah.
of that. Pull those beliefs, because it's the what you want and the feeling of what you want that you're drawing in. And you can have it
Yeah.
in ways better than you probably believe. So
Yeah.
let yourself have that.
I've actually channeled on this quite a bit. I think when we're a little kid, we're told like dream big, yes, big dreams for the most part. Like that is the messaging for little kids until you're about 7, 8 years old. And sometimes until you're basically out of elementary school. A lot of the messaging of like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. Once you hit middle school, I think part of the reason that it's kind of traumatic is people 180 on that belief, where it's like your I want to be this. I want to be this. I want to be this. And obviously, some people get awakened later or, sooner in life based on trauma and other things that way. But there is this like general societal belief of like, you can be anything you want. What do you want to be when you grow up when you're a little kid? And then all of a sudden you hit like middle school age or like adolescence and it pivots to like, well, how can you make that happen? You can't make that
Mhm.
happen. Be realistic. You're going to be an
Get ready
accountant.
for
Like,
college or
it's
whatever.
so traumatic to go
Mhm.
from the world is big and beautiful to shut the fuck up and sit down in the way that it does. And I think it's by design,
Mhm.
truly. Like I think that's what our education system is designed to do. I think that's what our society is designed to do, is to produce the people that it wants to produce. And so as far as if you're like, man, like why do I feel so resentful towards that? Or like I have channeled on it extensively. I know the exact
Mhm.
moment that that door shut for me
Me
and
too.
switched and pivot, and it caused a lot of fucked up trauma. So like I know that that is the case for a lot of you out there too. So if you need to go revisit that and do some releasing, I would honestly say this full moon's perfect time to do that
Yeah.
so that you
Mhm.
can dream big. We are in a really nice timing for that, which the full moon happens on Friday, so the day after the equinox essentially.
Yeah. Release the ruts this moon. Anything that
Yeah,
makes you
and
feel trapped or stuck or
I was
or
just gonna
dis
say, and stuck emotions, emotions that are you're just like keep feeling, but you don't even know why you're feeling them anymore. They just keep
yeah.
circling back around.
Oh my gosh.
That's what
Well,
we're
and
letting go.
so for anybody who's listening and thinking, because I acknowledge that some people are born into situations. I literally saw a meme the other day where it was like, you can be anything you want to be when you grow up, provided you were born with the resources for it, with the status for it, with the location to achieve it, and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
know that some people are born closer to the goal or to the ability to achieve goals like that than other people are.
Oh
But also,
yeah.
as someone who grew up in the place I grew up in, I remember my day that the door closed.
Hmm.
And because I believed that the door was closed for enough amount of time, I made decisions that made me more trapped there.
Oh
And
yeah.
when I realized, oh my God, it literally was, I looked at someone one day and I heard in the guides in my head go, okay, you're done. And I snapped out of it. And all of a sudden I was like, I can do literally anything. I can end up anywhere. And I'm willing to see what's best for me. And I'm willing
Hmm.
to like help make that my goal, but I want it to be co-creative. And
Yeah.
got to see the world and got to do all these things and have met the right kind of people. And because they always say it's like all about who you know, but the people you need to know, you will find and they will find you.
Yeah.
So don't worry about, having to meet all these people, because I never met the people that I would have needed to know to attain the goals that I had back then. I met all the people I needed to know to achieve what my soul is here for.
Hmm.
And
That's
it's
different.
very important to remember that sometimes what we need is going to get us to the next step to realize what we deserve.
Yeah. I also, on that note, I think I've been channeling a lot about this lately as well, is when we're a little kid, we don't have any fear. We show up on this planet like and we have to learn that fire is hot. We have to learn that cars can kill you. We have to learn fear. Fear is a learned behavior in order to preserve our survival. The
Mhm.
problem is there's no cutoff switch. There's no turn off point where we stop learning what to be afraid of. And when
Mhm.
we get to, adulthood, the problem is we're too good at learning what new thing to be afraid of. Now, we're not so much afraid of anymore of burning our hand. Now we have translated that fear into the most painful thing for us as an adult, which is typically our emotion situation. And I,
Mhm.
I think it's really valuable, and I've done this for myself, if you can sit there and really meditate on stopping learning fear, Like truly stop learning more fears. You have them all.
Yeah.
You already know what they all are. You have them all. You know what they are. Stop trying to learn fear further. And if you can just ingrain that belief of like, I'm done learning what to be afraid of. Like I'm done looking to learn what to be afraid of further. And instead be like, I know fear. I got that, checked that list. And now I can move forward into the other things that are far underdeveloped because I've spent so much time learning how to be afraid. I think it's really, really, really valuable. Like really valuable.
Well, and I remember like a couple weeks ago, there was one belief that I learned as a child that limited me so much in all of my connections with people. And I remember coming to you about it multiple times, coming to my
Mm-hmm.
therapist about it multiple times. And I was like, it has to be like some super traumatic thing. And it wasn't. It was like my grandma said one thing to me at a skating rink, and she said it in as much kindness as she could at the time. But it cemented a fear and a belief in me. It was something of like I have to be exactly like everybody else, or I can only have as much as anybody else in the same
Mm-hmm.
exact way, and that kind of thing. That till I was 34 wrecked so much just as this little humming bass line in my life. And then
Yeah.
when you realize it, you're just like, oh, it was that like well-intentioned thing that my little brain just took a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to release those things because it there's no one to blame. There's no anger to have. There's no resentment necessary. But now you can let it go. And acknowledging it and finding it now doesn't mean you've wasted 34 years. It means
No.
that you've reached a point where you are now free from this and it's going to
Yeah.
open you up even more.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. And it means you did it in your divine timing. That's the thing too, is I think a lot of people find these beliefs and like, oh, I wasted so much time, or I stayed in fear so long, or,
Mhm.
I didn't dream, I did all these things. And it's like, correct. You are
Yes.
in your divine timing. That's fine. That is an okay thing to be in. And it's okay for things to unfold in the timing that they're supposed to. That's how we get the better things. That's how we get the good or the stuff we actually want. Like we want it. So I think it's just valuable. The other thing I would say is with this full moon. So we talked about the solstice. Do something that's magical. Do something that's fun. Do something that makes you feel like a fantasy princess running through the forest wearing a crown, or
Mhm.
prince, or whatever title you want.
Or
Ogre. I
paint
don't know.
or yeah.
Whatever feels the best for you. I recommend doing that. Like do something that truly like imbues your life with fantasy magic and brings in that like magic of dreaming Disney princess sparkle that you really, really need. I think that's perfect for the solstice. What I will also say is for the full moon, now shed the things that you need to make sure you actually hold on to that energy. Whatever you need to shed to hold on to that energy, this is the time to do it. Like write it down, speak it into a glass of water and throw it in the dirt. Anything, go under the moon and yell at it. Quite literally be like, to release this feeling. That's fine. Like that is the time. I mean, your neighbors might look at you like you're super weird, but do it or think yell. And if you think yell, you don't have to breathe in between.
What a great observation.
That's a fun part. You can just scream at the moon for like infinite amount of time.
Oh my
Um,
God. Thank you. You
but
know,
it will help release all of that. It really truly will, and that's at least what I will be focusing on releasing with the full moon. And I think
mhm.
is the full moon is compelling us to kind of release together as a collective.
Yeah.
Um, Also, don't be surprised if post full moon, post solstice, you have a bit of a energy hangover this weekend.
Mhm.
'Cause you probably will. I anticipate myself having a decent energy hangover. Um, because it's just that's just the energy we caught coming at us, to be totally honest. It's just this like, whoa, okay, we did some stuff. It's also though this weekend into Monday, Tuesday, it's a lot of like friendship energy. Like I would actually like seek out companionship and friendship to go like do something with, whether you just have a friend over your house or you have a phone call with someone you really care about, or you go, with to the beach with friends or on a hike or whatever. Like it just is that's like the best combatant for the energy hangover is to just go people with people you like.
Mhm.
And if you don't have people you like, listen to podcasts of people you would like to hang out with, or, watch a movie with people you'd like, or go do stuff with your guides because you like them. But just like having that community friendship vibe is super important right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
another thing that I've been picking up on since I started looking into this a couple weeks ago is the if you don't feel like you have that community, like we said earlier, there's
mm,
this FOMO rejection sensitivity. If you feel like you're in a group, but you're not sure that you're valued there or that people see you or whatever,
hmm
and you might be feeling like, well, they're doing all this without me, and that means that they don't like me. Give the benefit of the doubt for like a solid 3 days. on Monday, see if you still feel that way and then evaluate, is this the group that you want to be with if they don't
Mhm.
see or value you? Or was there a misunderstanding?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very important.
Also, if it's not the group, you got to take some aligned action into getting into the group space. And that's the thing I think that people kind of miss that step because our brain's really good at being like, well, I don't know what that is. What would be the action to make friends? And instead of being like, well, I guess I could go to that one community event because I know I would like people there. I just got to be brave enough to go by myself. Or I could join that yoga class, which I got to be brave enough to go by myself, but that is where I'd find people I really like. Or that online course or thing that I know would provide me with a group of people that I think I would really dig. Or there's like a choice investment of energy piece that does need to come in. And a
Mhm.
lot of times this comes up a lot in readings. We don't even realize that we're rejecting that piece. We're just subconsciously being like, well, I just wish the community would come in. I just wish these people would be here. Like, I lost this other community. I don't want to be part of that. Where are they? And a lot of times when I tune in on that, guides are like, where are you? Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? And so it actually requires energetic investment to find those people, to put that beacon out there, like, hey, I'm willing to accept these connections in. And now, truly now more than ever, are we need community so bad. We are being pushed to have community so bad. We are being pushed to develop connections. We are being really thrown together by the hands of fate, which we like. That is good. We want this. But it also means that in order to get the community we want, not just the one that's going to get thrown at us, we have
Mhm.
to do some stuff. So that would be my only other kind of piece on that note of like, if you want a new community after you reassess, where do they hang out? Go there, or
Yeah.
where might they hang out, or what seems fun for you to do? Go there, like go do those things. It will make a huge difference. It really will.
Mhm. And if you find that you have this many, like a bunch of things saying, I can't do that because I can't do that because the
Right.
because is your belief statement. And I would look into that and just ask yourself, like, is that true? Does it have to stay true?
Yeah.
And what are some of my alternatives? Like, how can I go outside of this box that I feel like I've been put in or put myself in to be able to
Mhm.
say, okay, I can't do this because, but I have other options.
Yeah.
Or like, if I can't do this, then what can I do?
Hmm.
And then go from there. I know what it's like to be in that desperate place of feeling like there's no way to reach the outside world. But one of my favorite
Yeah.
pieces of art is a man kind of looking through the firmament. He sticks his head out of the sky to see what's beyond it. And it's,
Hmm.
astrologers know this one because we feel like we're looking through the sky to see whatever. But you can stick your head right outside of reality and see what's out
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, you totally can. I would also release any beliefs you have around things being impossible.
Hmm.
Like truly, like right now, the narrative, especially in like popular media, online, in the news, is like, well, it's impossible. All this bad stuff is happening. Change can't happen. Like it's just the undercurrent of
Yeah.
most of the things we're absorbing. If you can actively, and I would say, like, write it on your mirror, say this every day, like,
Yeah.
nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible.
Hmm.
Everything's possible. Like anything that feels the best for you, um, that'll really help. It'll
Yeah.
really help move some energy around because it's true. Everything's possible.
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
Yeah.
And the more you can release that, kind of the better.
Hmm.
Also, we wanted to say thank you for loving our surprise Rebecca episode last week. That was super fun.
Yeah.
We had a great time, and it was really funny because we were like all ships kind of passing each other in the night. Like Krista and I haven't really been on a call with each other in like 2 weeks, which is
Yeah.
so rare for us because we usually meet multiple times, like 3 times a week on average. For multiple hours. And like that wasn't happening as Krista was going to a cool astrology retreat. And then like Rebecca and I were doing our thing. And it's just been like this whole like shuffle.
Yeah.
So we just kind of like, yeah, we'll record that episode. That'll be great. We hope people like Rebecca on there. And everyone seemed to really enjoy it. So like we really appreciate that energy from you guys because that was fun. It was really
That was
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like bringing fresh stuff every once in a while, and just like having it almost feels like a circle chat um
Yeah.
in some of the episodes where we get to kind of have a conversation that's not really planned and pretty candid, and then everybody watching gets to feel like they're a part of it, or are kind of brought into the circle, which I
Yeah.
I love so much. Yeah.
I do too. On that note, we talked a lot about sacred spaces on last week's podcast. So if
Mhm.
you haven't had a chance to listen to it, you really should go do that. And we're so excited to get to see you guys in our community at Sacred Spaces because you guys
Mhm.
are our people. We love it and it's great. And Sacred Spaces is just It's so magical. And we're still working on developing even more cool stuff for this gathering that we haven't even announced yet. So we're working on that. That being said, we are still looking for some vendors.
Mhm.
So we have a good amount of the vendor spots filled, but we do have about 5 more spots that we would love to fill. So if you are a vendor that offers something that's not readings, like we're not looking for vendors to do like psychic readings or tarot or anything like that. We're looking for vendors who do high vibe products in some capacity. Do you do resin crafts that are high vibe and have fun symbols? Fantastic. Do you have a cute little art business that you sell prints of that all are like spiritual images or ghosts or whatever? Amazing. Do
Mhm.
we have someone who's like making journals? Maybe you make like a physical product in that way. Or like jewelry, or I mean, who knows? I don't know what you guys do. We would love some like essential oil people or incense or something. I mean, like there's just a ton of different stuff that we would
If you
love to
offer
have at the space.
if you offer services that help entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
we are looking for people. We have a little section right now for people who are looking to start their business in their spiritual work. And so if
Hmm.
you're someone who can support people that way, reach out to us because we might be able to give you a place where you can meet people who will be looking
Yeah.
for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another great one. Like
Mhm.
we have like a bookkeeper and a lawyer and like a business consultant, like all for spiritual focused businesses.
Yeah.
And we would love to add more to that. So anything in that sort of vein, we would absolutely love to invite you to apply to be a vendor. You can go to
Mhm.
sacredspacesgathering.com. There's a place to apply to be a vendor. You click on it and you submit your application. It's pretty dang easy. But we would love for you to do that. That would be amazing. And we would just like more people to be there. And from our listening base too, that would be really cool to have you guys
Mhm.
there too. It's a really, really, really fun event. I'm so excited. And there is still a couple add-ons that do still have some space. So if you want to attend Sacred Spaces, you can still get in on Mystery Spirit Theater 3000, where we're going to basically watch like clips of the best ghost adventures, air quotes, spots, and
Mhm.
watch what they're doing and being like, you're not possessed. This is what the spirit's actually doing. Maybe you shouldn't touch it there. We're gonna have some fun and just like be on the mics together, laughing and goofing off. We also, Krista is going to make talisman, like an activated talisman with you, do a
Yeah.
talisman workshop in that way, and that's gonna be freaking neat. That has a couple spots left.
You'll be able to
We also
take
have
your
a
talisman home with you and I will bring all the materials. So you just have to show up.
yeah, yeah, and it's a Christmas talismans are amazing. There's one right there. Like, it's so cute.
Yeah, that's still my favorite, always.
It's right there. It's hanging out. I bless it with incense every once in a while to like give it a little rezhuzh.
Mm,
Um,
sure she appreciates it.
so it's amazing, amazing work there. And so you get to do that. And that is such a cool opportunity. You can also head with us to go do some channeled history, walking around Williamsburg.
Hmm.
I got the name right.
Yeah.
Colonial Williamsburg. And anyway, we're gonna walk around there and do some channel history and see what ghosts we meet or what people like, what images show up from the ancient, from the past of what it looked like and what this used to be and that used to be. And
Mhm.
you can come do that with us. It's gonna be a field trip. It's gonna be nifty. So yeah, we still have a bunch of those add-ons, and of course, tickets are available for the event. You do not have to have an add-on either. You can just come to the event itself. We do also have some digital tickets. If you cannot make the actual physical in-person event, you will get a digital recording of the said event after it closes. It's not going to be a Zoom on Zoom situation like it way it was in the past, purely because we want to give you high quality stuff, and Zoom doesn't do that. So we're going to give you high quality stuff, actually filmed professionally and put together in a lovely little happy digital package that will get sent to you. So if you're like, man, I really wish I could be there, we do have a way for you to digitally um, get the information, get the experience as well,
Mhm.
which is also available. So we would love to invite you to Sacred Spaces. Come hang out with us.
Mhm.
Um, it's going to be really cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah,
I look forward to it all the time. It's so good.
I know. This is not, yeah, we're we do. Oh, we have 1 spot left on Egypt again.
Yeah, we do.
So if you want to go to Egypt with us I say Egypt again, we're doing 2 back-to-back Egypt retreats in end of February, beginning of March of 2025.
Mhm.
The first one obviously sold out right away. We opened up a second one that is literally almost sold out. There is 1 spot left. So if you do want to come to Egypt with us, there's 1 spot left on the Egypt Again trip that you can find in our bios and head there for Egypt again.
Egypt.
Um, Egypt again. And you get to hang out with us in Egypt, and it's so freaking cool. I'm so
Mhm.
excited. I can't wait. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else? Anything else you can think of that we want to chit chat about? What's popping up?
Oh, I mean, I feel like one of these days we're gonna have to do another like random stories episode because I've got a lot of those having come up, especially from over this weekend because we were doing timing techniques. And I have some funny stories about timing I found in my astrology.
I know maybe we should do that next week because next week's a bookend, and so we could do just like a
Yeah,
rando story, and I can tell a story about what Rebecca and I did while she was here, and you can
yeah.
talk through that and
We'll recap our ships in the night kind of last 2 weeks, and I'll tell you guys
adventures.
about the last time I died and the next time I'll die.
It's the most Pluto ruled Scorpion shit I've ever.
Listen, Mars is in Pisces in my chart, so it's like, what even is that? It's too deep for me to. Mars is beneath the feeling of fear of death, which is hilarious.
Amazing. Oh, it's so funny.
I was joking
Yeah.
about it all weekend, and all the other astrologers were fascinated. So you know you're around astrologers when you can talk about death as something that happens on a timeline rather than like, oh my God, you're gonna die. It's like, oh man, you found it. How do you feel about that? Like, what are you gonna do in the meantime? Did you have a good quality of life until then? It was just so good. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
length.
let's definitely do that. We'll do a story time episode next time. I think that's fun and
Yeah.
fair and
Also,
yeah.
for the record, if you come to me for a consultation, no, I'm not telling you when you're going to die. I found mine because it's something that I was able to give myself permission to do. And it is important to me given my own circumstances. If you are someone who really, really, really wants that, you can reach out to me and give me a really, really, really good reason. And maybe depending on what the really, really good reason is. But typically, I'm not going to tell you. And typically for the consultations I do, I'm not looking. It was the first step that was required of astrologers 5,000 years ago because you couldn't promise someone who wasn't going to live past like 20 that they were going to have a really good time when they were 30 because they felt that that was cheating them and like giving them hope where it wasn't there for them. Um, but these days, I
What?
think, yeah,
I'd want the hope anyway.
yeah, you're gonna have a really
You know
great
what
time.
I mean?
Well, okay, but that's what the doctors did to me when I was 10, right? They were like, live your life as though you're perfect. And then I didn't have what I needed to get through that. They didn't think I was going to live. So they
I
were
just
like,
want
you're gonna
all
die
the
when you're 11
information.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't mean like I guess technically it would be false hope at that point, but I would rather them be like, "Hey, like here's all the things whatever leading up and then you skip over the death bit and this is the stuff happening beyond it." And then like you get the full and complete picture. I don't know,
Yeah, I
maybe that's
think
just me.
you're right. I had the inverted issue where I lived longer than expected, not that I didn't live to the good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know? So like
I'm in the good times.
uh amazing.
Sorry, guys.
Cool. Yeah. We'll do story time next time. We got lots to say. I shared this with Krista beforehand, but I'm like really excited about it. So I'm gonna share it with you guys too. I started a new like YouTube series and the new first video that's probably gonna post this weekend where like you know those like Am I the Asshole podcasts or like YouTubes or whatever where they like sit down together and they'll like read something off Reddit and be like, do you think that person's the asshole? And then they like kind of talk about it. Well, I decided I'm gonna do that on my YouTube, but just with spiritual stuff. So I went to like spiritual Reddit and occult Reddit, psychic Reddit, whatever, and found like weird spiritual situations that are happening to people. Not
Yeah.
like, what do spirit guides do? But more like, hey, there's this man that's standing at the end of my bed for the last 10 days and he pokes me every night and I don't know what to do about it. More like that kind of thing. And then like me and my guides are like weighing in on that. And I've been having a great time with it. It's super fun. So I'm teasing it here because I hope you guys would want to watch it because I really like making it. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
It sounds really, I'm going to start sending you Reddit threads now because I'm
Please
on
do.
all those Reddit threads too. So
Yeah, please do. I will dissect them. And I'm just sure you'll be the guest on it at some point. And
please
like
and
it's
thank you. Oh my gosh.
yeah, like it's definitely like a very casual like YouTube series sort of thing. Like I'll probably have like Noah on it at one point when he comes up to hang out and he can sit on my couch and he'll talk about stuff. Like, just like really chill vibes with it. But I hope it's fun for people because I dig it. So I'm just like
Mhm.
telling everyone about like my first video is not even out, but I'm like, I've shot a bunch, but I'm like, you to know it's happening. It's so
Mhm.
fun for me. So anyway. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. You're awesome. We appreciate you. You're fantastic. And happy solstice and happy full moon. And
Mhm.
we hope you take all this energy and you go
Go
make some
and
magic.
magic. Please tell me that our hands are the same direction on yours as they
They
are.
are on my screen.
Oh, I hope you guys were watching that. That was cute.
Okay.